didn't announce it to me, but he told afterwards that he did the Korban Pesach in India.
Did he? Is this enough light for you? Would you like more light?
לא, אני חושבת שזה בסדר.
It's enough?
כן.
And they did Korban Pesach in India.
And that's basic on what he learned of read from Rabbi Glick.
Rabbi Yehuda Glick.
He did it they did it in Jerusalem.
Oh, that's interesting. So what did he learn from Rabbi Glick?
You can read it if you like.
That, yes,
it is not a nice book. Didn't become a nice book. I put it in pages and I printed it. I got no.
May I just take a quick glance at this?
Huh?
May I just take a quick glance at
Yes.
this?
So I was a little bit shocked because he didn't announce it to me. He told it afterwards. But I'm not sorry that I hear it later.
Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to reading this and seeing what they made of it.
So, he is very enthusiastic that he did it, or they did it.
Is one?
That they did it, the Korban Pesach.
I didn't catch the first part of the sentence.
That they fulfilled the mitzvah of the Korban.
Yeah, what do you mean? He is happy, he feels that they did that?
That they did it, yeah.
Well, say, I mean, what can you do? God accepts each one in the place where he or she is.
No, I also cannot judge it.
They had the Shomronim up in Samaria. They also had a Korban Pesach, did they not, a few weeks ago? I don't know about the Karaim, all the different people, each one has their own thing.
Yes.
I mean, all one can do is to try and teach what the sages of the Torah taught us. And each one will have to do what is right in his eyes. You know, there's no authority yet that is able to guide everybody to the common truth.
And second, we start in Nigeria, Nigeria, you pronounce it in English.
Nigeria.
Yes, and the person who works now for us, it's only on a volunteer base, he is so enthusiastic.
He is
Enthusiastic to join us, to join Bet Ya'aqov International. And he speaks about more than 100,000 pastors that he collect to be registered in.
Where is he based in Nigeria?
I don't know the name of the city exactly, it's in the south. It's far away from the area where Boko Haram is settled.
No.
So,
That's away from Boko Haram or near Boko Haram?
no, away, it's far away.
Away from them.
You don't hear anything he said about it. Yeah.
Nigeria is in a very difficult situation at the moment.
Yes, so that is that's in the beginning stadium. It becomes now official, and
So how are you defining the mission of Bet Ya'aqov? I mean, here you have in our friend Gali in India is doing what is basically a kind of a mixture of some kind of Christian ritual with some kind of Torah foundation to it. And he is speaking about there the Lamb of Yeshua and all that.
it's not how to explain it. They believe that the word of Hashem became flesh, but they don't believe that is Yosef or Jesus Christ. They really believe literal how it is written in the first what you call the first gospel. The word became flesh. And they believe, like it is written in Devarim 30 verse 10.
Which verse is that?
Something like, I am not a rabbi, I'm not a Hebrew professor, something like, if you obey my voice and do my commandments. That said, he said that on the end of the story, how he shall gather the people back out of the nations where he sent them. And they believe the voice, if you obey my voice, that is all what Hashem spoke to Moshe from between the cherubim. That word became flesh in their vision. And we are now confronted with 2000 years of Christian doctrines about the New Testament scriptures, what it means, what immediately when you hear the word Yeshua, then you think on Jesus Christ.
But he isn't here widely quoting from the Christian scriptures, I see.
He is quoting from the New Testament, yeah, but not so much.
You know, I personally am willing to try to make a leap to understand where he's coming from. And what I do know is that any average Orthodox Jew, the moment he sees something like this, is just going to run in the other direction. So that's always something we have to be careful about.
But if you follow it, Rabbi Ovadia, he phoned me before I visit you.
Who is
Ovadia
this?
from Kohator.
He phoned you about this or about
No,
something?
he phoned me to ask me if I come to the conference.
Yes.
And he's really pressing that I shall come and that I shall speak there. But I'm not sure if I like it, because, but I talked a long time with him, yes?
Yeah.
And we, how to say that, how to start. Rabbi Ya'aqov developed a Messiah view based on the teachings from the book Kol HaTorah.
Yeah.
And there's something totally different than the dogma that Christianity created.
Mm.
And but Ya'aqov also is convinced that the divine leadership for the Jews is by the rabbis. That is what they recognize. But on the other hand, they recognize that Hashem went with Ephraim another way as with Yehuda. And now comes the point, we only want to learn from what we gather from Jewish rabbi, what they teach about Torah. You understand me? It's not.
I do understand.
And we also almost forbid it to bring any doctrine based on the New Testament to the Jewish people, because you, I think, then you start something most impossible to convince.
I do hope you will come to the conference. I'm planning on being there for a good part of the time, God willing, and also on speaking. And I do believe that we have to sort of break the ice with one another and start dialoguing with one another and seeking to understand one another, even if we won't actually come to a complete consensus at the end or solve the problems. But at the very least, something is happening, and I'm very, I would like very much to see momentum continues.
But, for example, what I learn it also, but Gadi and his people learn from Kol HaTorah, the book what we have in an English translation, is that the goal of Messiah Ben Yoseph, it is divine aspect. I don't know, I don't remember the number what they wrote, but I put it on our website, and he put it as a guidance. The one who wrote the book collator from the teaching that the Gaon gave. And if you talk openly as a Jew with Ephraimites, die really in the heart have the desire to come back to the land and to come so close as possible by Hashem, then I hear really testimonies under tears that Hashem one way or the other spoke to them to start the Shabbat or other mitzvot, what you see in...
I fully accept all of this because, you know, Hashem is not limited by any means in the way that he speaks to different people. Jewish person, Ashkenazi, Jewish person, Sephardi, Ephraimite, Indian, a Chinaman. Hashem speaks to everybody in the
No, but that is, I believe, that is Messiah Ben Yoseph. It's not another God or what you call, no, I think Hashem touched them with his word. That's Messiah.
Look, in my own case, I always go back to when I was aged 26, and for no reason whatever, after 13 years since my bar mitzvah that I never put on tefillin, something came into me at the age of 26 that I must put on tefillin every day. Why? I mean, from where? You know, from Hashem. Yeah. And Hashem is speaking to. Hashem does not need Chabad or Azamara or you or anybody to stir who he wants. You know, he does it as he decrees, as he desires in each person. If this is the way they're coming, as long as we're all talking to each other, you know, I mean...
But is that not how the Gaon teaches who is Messiah in the end of days?
I am not an expert in the Gaon's teachings on Messiah. I couldn't answer yes or no. I have no idea. I've never studied the writings of the Gaon and Kol HaTor, and I'm not even speculating, you know. I mean, I've studied Maimonides' chapters on Mashiach. I've studied everything Rabbi Nachman has to say about Mashiach, and that's it for me. I mean, I just see this huge ferment happening in the world today, and unlike any time in the past, people who are not halakhically Jewish are trying to reach out to rabbis, and all of this is facilitated by the internet in amazing ways. So that's as much as I know. All I know is that my job is to, you know, teach what I know from the Torah, and everybody else will do what they want, and Hashem will, you know, orchestrate the whole thing in the direction he wants. I'm not trying to bring Mashiach. I'm not trying to bring the 10 tribes back. What I'm trying to do is I work in the conviction that it is the, whether you call it the Word incarnate in the flesh or you call it the Torah, whatever it is, it's Torah. Whether it's Torah speaking through a person or from books, it's Torah that is what will draw the world back to Hashem.
Yes.
So we're on the same page in that respect, you know. That's, you know, I mean, the very fact that somebody like this Gadi in India is like suddenly interested in the Korban Pesach is itself a miracle, you know. And I forget, it's a couple of years ago in, I think, Brazil, somebody conceived a plan to build an enormous church on the design of the Bet HaMikdash of Shlomo. So, very famous, widely publicized,
I read
2 or 3 years ago. And up gets the Temple Institute. How dare they, you know, how dare they take our temple and put it over there? And there is something offensive that the outward shape of the Bet HaMikdash is now devoted to their Yoshki. But but the fact is that they're interested in Solomon's temple. That in itself is an amazing thing. You know, they try to hijack it for mainstream Orthodox Christian theology, a very Roman Catholic center. Nevertheless, it does create awareness of the temple in Jerusalem. So God is calling in all kinds of voices to all kinds of different people, and He will work out everything. He's calling to the Muslims in a very very aggressive way at the moment. You know, the Muslims are taking over Europe and America. They're fighting there in Africa, Nigeria, and they're in India as well. There's not exactly free of these problems. So God is really making it happen now. You know, the Muslims are not doing all this for nothing. You know, God is also stirring them up.
That's where we came up with from Ariel.
You want?
This is where Ronit came up with. Ariel, they are all moving to Europe. So the states around Israel where the people immigrate from to Europe, they are becoming weaker. Hashem is creating place.
I heard this from Rabbi Yoel Schwartz as well. I asked him some months ago what is happening with this war in Syria. He said Hashem is doing this to weaken them and to clear the place for the Bnei Israel to come back to, this is all part of Israel, up to Antioch.
Yeah.
That's all Israel according to the vision of Yechezkel. It's right up, here it is, here is the Dat Mikra map of the settlement according to Ezekiel. Published by a very respectable organization. This is published by the Mossad Rav Kook, and nobody can accuse them of being like, not academic. Really there. Here you go.
Yes.
Right up to here,
Yes.
and all the way down to there. This is the